Again I stepped over the old woman. I set the mallet down right by the door, so that upon my return, without even entering the room, I could have the mallet in my hands, and I walked out into the hallway. Voices carried from the kitchen, but I couldn't make out the words. I closed the door to my room part way and went cautiously to the kitchen. I wanted to know what Maria Vasilievna and the mechanic were talking about. I walked quickly down the hallway, but slowed my pace as I got nearer the kitchen. The mechanic was talking. It seemed he was speaking of something that happened to him at work. I walked in. The mechanic stood, taking with a towel in his hands, and Maria Vasilievna sat listening on a stool. Catching sight of me, the mechanic waved. Hello, Matvey Filipovich, I said to him as I passed on my way to the bathroom. So far everything was calm. Maria Vasilievna had gotten used to my peculiarities and might already have forgotten this most recent case. Suddenly it occurred to me I didn't lock the door. And what if the old woman crawls out of the room? I rushed back, but caught myself in time, and in order not to scare the tenants, I walked through the kitchen at an even pace. Maria Vasilievna was knocking on the kitchen table with her fingers, saying to the mechanic, "Excellent! What's excellent? I wouldn't have whispered too." My heart froze as I walked out in the hallway, and now almost running, went off to my room. Outside everything was calm. I walked up to the door and opened it just enough to look inside. The old woman was lying calmly as before with her face to the floor. The crooked mallet stood by the door where I'd left it. I took it, walked into the room and locked the door behind me. The room certainly smelled of a corpse. I stepped over the old woman, walked over to the window and sat down in the armchair. I hope this odor, still faint but already unbearable, doesn't make me sick. I lit my pipe. I felt nauseous, and there was a slight pain in my stomach. What am I sitting here for? I need to act quickly before this old woman goes completely rancid. In any case, she must be stuffed into the suitcase with caution, because that's exactly the moment she could bite my finger, and then to die of an infection from a corpse. No, thank you. Aha, I suddenly exclaimed. I'm quite interested. What will you bite mine with? Aren't those your little teeth away over there? I bent over in the armchair and looked in the corner on the far side of the window, where, by my calculation, the old woman's false teeth should have been. But the false teeth were not there. I wondered, maybe the old woman was crawling around my room looking for her teeth, and maybe she even found them and put them back in her mouth. I took the crooked mallet and used it to poke around in the corner. No, the dentures are gone. Then I took a heavy flannel sheet from a drawer and walked over to the old woman. I held the crooked mallet in my right hand at the ready, and in my left hand I held the flannel sheet. The dead old woman aroused in me a mixture of squeamishness and fear. I lifted up her head with the mallet. Her mouth was open, her eyes rolled upwards. A large dark stain spread across the whole of her chin, where I had kicked her with my boot. I looked into the old woman's mouth. No, she had not found her false teeth. I let go of her head. It dropped and banged against the floor. I spread the flannel sheet across the floor and pulled it right up to the old woman. Then, with my foot and cricket mallet, I turned the old woman over to her left and onto her back. Now the old woman was lying on the sheet. The old woman's legs were bent at the knees and her fist pressed against her shoulders. It seems that the old woman, lying on her back like a cat, was getting ready to defend herself against an eagle that was attacking her. Quickly, begone with this carrion. I wrapped the old woman in the thick sheet and lifted her into my arms. She turned out to be lighter than I thought. I let her down into the suitcase and tried closing the lid. Here I expected some difficulties, but the lid closed with relative ease. I snapped in the lock of the suitcase and straightened up. The suitcase stood before me, looking perfectly respectable, as if inside it were books and linens. I took it by the handle and tried lifting it. It was, of course, heavy, but not too much so I could no doubt carry it to the tram.